Hello everyone and welcome back to Unknown Developer this week. Yay, Unknown Developer. My chair's really squeaky, so you may hear squeak squeak sometimes from every now and then. I need to get a new chair at some point. Anyway, so what we're going to talk about today is I'm hopefully going to look at two games because there isn't much on either of these. But we'll see how it goes. But the first game we're going to look at is Unforgettable. There will be a download link in the description. So go have a look at it yourself. Go have a look, give it a download, give it a quick play. And see what you can find yourself, and then we'll go through what is in the game and what we have found in the game. So Unforgettable is our first game. So as per usual, the first thing we're going to has been for the past few episodes, we're going to look at what the .ini file is. So again, the .ini file is just configuration settings. So your resolution for the game screen, or like the contrast, the colors and stuff. So it's very much the settings for the game, which most games have, I think, sort of have a configuration settings file, which you can edit from in the game, although Unknown Developer games obviously don't have a settings menu in them, so this is the only way to really edit them. But this .ini file, or configuration file for Unforgettable, is called UTWYA. I don't really know what that actually means or what that's in relation to. It's just kind of a weird little made up word. So UTWYA is the .ini file. So the other ones have been words that we've been able to at least link in with the game. This is so far the only one I can't think of any actual connection with, and I can't even theorize a connection with. Anyway, that's the .ini file, so now we'll move on to the rest of the stuff the Unknown Developer has provided for this game. So here we have the thumbnail image. Now, there's a question mark in the middle, you got Unforgettable in a V shape around it. And you've got red and green sort of waves. If you look very closely, they are very hard to see. But you can see dots and lines. That is Morse code. We'll get into what that means, but I'm just pointing it out now. I will show this image again when I point out the Morse code later, but just up the top and down the bottom, there is Morse code, dots and lines. It might be a bit hard to see, but I'll make sure I have a bigger image later when I show it. So the game's called Unforgettable. Asterisk, exclamation mark, woohoo, exclamation mark, asterisk. So that's a bit of a weird description. It's also the first description doesn't have a ... at the end. Also, it's an action game and for the Windows platform. So, yeah, pretty usual and typical. So, up the top here we have a banner which says, woohoo, yeah, finally, amazing, wonderful, and my life makes sense again. So, I guess those are kind of reviews, you could say, and they are in asterisks as well. So that's kind of cool. And usually asterisks denote, bolded text or italicized text on most HTML websites, programs, stuff like that. If you put asterisks around it, it'll italicize or bolden it usually. So just interesting to note that. But yeah, Unforgettable in the middle, and you got the red and green sort of colouring and waves around that. So let's now have a look at the actual the descriptions again. Unforgettable. I'm going to read it without me reading what's crossed out. So I'm just going to read it without the crossed out stuff, and then we'll come back and I'll mention the crossed out stuff. So I'm going to read it through without that. Are you ready to live the most exciting experience of your life? Are you ready to face your limits? An unforgettable journey through car chases, explosions, beautiful women, stunning bodies, and manly fights. And just when you're getting the best time of your life, a ton of adventure puzzles backed by one of the most winding emotional roller coaster ever designed will test your mental strength by deceiving every certainty you had about your knowledge. Don't hesitate. Grab now the masterful masterpiece and start mastering it right now. What are you waiting for? I said now. I'm not responsible for flying cows, talking pigs, or any kind of alien abduction. There's a huge possibility that you'll get scared. I'm not responsible for screaming people, loud noises, and creepy faces. Watch out for the owls too. They're not what they seem. If a flying saucer keeps following you around, say hi and walk 3 steps backward. And now, sponsor time. So it's a bit of a weird introduction. Some of the recurring elements that we can see here are the owls. So from on the edge there were hooting owls in the background supposedly, which are really hard to hear, but they are very faint and can be heard. So if you go back and listen to the On the Edge audio, I did mention, there might be owls in the background, so have a listen. So this is a second mention of owls. So the recurring element of owls are back. So what's been crossed out here is leave, put an end, sick and tired, and call. So, they're very negative words. Call's an interesting one, but it's like, call the depression hotline or whatever, call us if you're lonely, that kind of thing. Or like a chat up line if you're lonely or something like that. So call does work in the sense that, life's really hard. So yeah, it's really interesting. And some of the words are bold. I don't really know if they have a specific reason for being bold, and I think they're to stand out because that's what people usually do when they're advertising something. Now he says, and now sponsor time at the end, and of course we have the UD apparel store there. Now there is a letter. Oh, a letter. There's always a hidden letter at the bottom, isn't there? And underneath the apparel store today, our letter is a S. Oh, an S, another S. So we have THESTORKS. So we have the Storks so far, or for Storks, could be for Storks. We'll just assume it's the Storks. So we have the Storks so far. So that's interesting. Now we're going to look at the sort of screenshots. That's what they're called. I was trying to think of a name there. So this first screenshot here says car chasers. And it's got UD's face as usual for the screenshots, but it also has a picture of cars in red. Awesome. The next one we have is explosions, and it's like you got UD's face again and an explosion. Oh, beautiful women. You do have a wonderful, very it looks like, it doesn't look like a real woman. It looks like it's sort of an animated woman, possibly from a video game, and she doesn't look very happy either. But I guess she can be beautiful. And more like stunning bodies and manly fights. So that's cool. We don't get to see the stunning bodies and manly fights, however, but we are promised that there'll be those. So those are the screenshots for the game. So let's have a look at the more information. So updated December 22nd, 2017. Most of the games were updated around that time. Published April 16th, 2017. It's released for the Windows by unknown developer, and it's an action game, as we looked at. Average session is a few minutes. Language is English, inputs a keyboard, and colorblind friendly subtitles and high contrast. So everything there is very much true. I guess the action's a bit debatable, but it is very true for the most part. So the tags are 2D, action adventure, atmospheric, dark, horror, mind-bending, mystery, spooky, surreal, and weird. Again, this is a game that doesn't have any strange tags. All of the tags are pretty self-explanatory, and they do relate to the game fairly well. So there's no out there tags, or tags that are kind of unique to this game. I think spooky's unique. I think this is the first time we've had spooky and action adventure and stuff like that, but they do fit within what the unknown developer is going for with this game. So no real interesting tags for this one. So now let's have a look at the actual game. As per usual, $2 suggested payment. The Unforgettable.exe is 16 megabytes. So that's good. Now here we go. So here's the download and install instructions. Download this sensational piece of software and, after a big donation to help all the poor children of Proxima Centauri, you'll feel the most soulful peace all over your body. Then, with the executable file in your hands, double-click on that marvel. That's it. Enjoy. Woohoo. So that's interesting. Again, some of the words some of the words are bolden, download, big, donation, which is even underlined, Proxima Centauri, peace, body, marvel, woohoo. Again, I think this is just sort of what advertisers do. They kind of bolden specific things, so it's just to make them stand out. I don't think there's any real meaning to the words. But yeah, there's that. So it's also interesting to note how both in the description and in this install instructions you have boldened words, because in this game you'll see that there are boldened words that kind of spell out something, and it's a bit weird. Anyway, we'll move on now to what we've actually found within the game, which isn't much for this one. So first things first, let's have a look at the car chasers pick. So we have, as I said, these are actual cars. We have found the pictures of the cars. They look like toy cars, somewhat, but that is the original picture that's just been kind of reddened and tilted. I don't think it's even been tilted. I think it's just been reddened. But that's the original picture, which is pretty obvious when you compare them. So that's easy. We have not found a picture of the beautiful woman, though. Don't know what she's from, unfortunately. So, so I'm assuming you played the game, or at least had a look at it. So you should know that it comes up with Unforgettable on the main screen, and it prompts you to press Y, A, E, and O. Now, if you press Y, A, E, and O, you don't have to press them in that order, I don't think, but as you press them, if you press Y, it comes up with I. If you press A, can, E, C, and O, U. So I can see you, I being E-Y-E, so it's spelled out. So again, the recurring symbolism of eyes has returned from on the edge. Now if we press Q, which is usually the quit button, we have slow, the, tide, good, bye. And these pop up on a separate screen. They sort of fade in, then fade out, and pop up on that, which is interesting. And yeah, it's interesting that's because goodbye is usually one word, but it's been split into two, and we don't really know what slow to tide means, but it's kind of, the background is sort of wavy, so it's a bit interesting there, that parallel. So then we get the lyrics, which quickly scroll up on the screen, which you may or may not have had a chance to read a few of, but it's actually, I'm not going to read them all, but I'll prompt you to go listen to the song, which I'll put in the description, actually. So in the description, you'll have a link to a song called Unforgettable by Nat King Cole, which is a very good song, mind you. But these are the lyrics of this song. So unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, no near or far. I'm not going to continue singing, but these are the lyrics to the song Unforgettable. And some of the lyrics, or some of the letters of certain words in the lyrics are green. And these green letters spell I can see you. It's a bit spooky. So I can in the first paragraph, see in the second, and you in the third paragraph there. Which again is what we saw when we pressed Y, A, E, O on the first screen. Now also, so that's the game itself. That's it. That's all we have found in the game. Which is interesting that we've only found those, we haven't really found anything deep within the game, considering what the Morse code translates into. So if we go back to the thumbnail image, we have a Morse code up the top and bottom. And this Morse code here spells out the answer lies here. The answer to supposedly all the bits and bobs that the online developer's been providing us. But apparently they lie here, yet we have found so little about this game that really, is there anything here? Also, the fact that the game does take a few minutes to complete, it can take less than a minute. Like, there's not anything here to look at, really. So it's a bit interesting. As I said, the audio is an edited version of Unforgettable by Nat King Cole. So I will play you I'll play the edited version. So the unedited version will be in the description for you to go listen to, because it's a wonderful song. While the edited version, I'll play a portion of now for you.
Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, so near or far, like a song of love that clings to me.
So there I only played about 30 seconds of it, because I didn't want to, because it's a whole 3-minute song. It's an edited version of the song, but it's a whole 3 minutes of it. So I just played the first 30 seconds of it for you there. Now, if you go to the actual UD kind of wiki Google doc that we have, you can download all these audio files for yourself and kind of read around for yourself. So if you want to listen to the whole thing, the download is on the wiki. I'm just here to kind of summarize it a bit for myself and for other people too, because I think this will be a good summary for understanding the games, and for me to kind of get into it and try and solve some stuff for myself and trying to help out as the developer continues giving us hints. The final thing is that there's actually a t-shirt for this game. So the t-shirt is this image here, which has 2 eyes in the corners. It kind of has sort of sword slashes going down, and the word unforgettable in the corner. In the middle, kind of in a V shape. Now, what's interesting to note here on this shirt design is that it kind of looks like an owl. Yeah, so There is a better image here that's kind of been grayscaled. That's kind of been pushed together, but as you can see, it looks kind of like an owl, which is interesting considering owls were mentioned in the description of the game. Sadly, no cows or alien abductions occurred, which is interesting considering that, if you meet an alien, say hi and take 3 steps backwards. It's interesting because that has nothing to do with anything. It's just a bit of a weird thing. Maybe that's just life advice. If you ever come across some alien, say hi and take 3 steps backwards. But I don't know. It's a bit weird that that's not even a hint to anything that we found yet. There may be a hint to something. It's just that it hasn't been found, but it's weird that we haven't used that, really, because that seems like a very hinty thing, or something you would use to solve a puzzle or uncover a new secret. So that's literally everything we have for Unforgettable. Not much, which is interesting. So I will edit this together, and if it hasn't gone on too long, I'll look at another game. If it has gone on for about 15 minutes, then that will be it.
Love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me. Never before has someone